Thank you so much for joining us today. It's another day that we have been talking about a spiritual perspective in dealing with relationship crisis. And we want to dwell on family matters that have engulfed our society, where you would find a man and a woman are going through some tough times, probably financially, and they get to a point they can't handle it anymore. And those misunderstandings that would come, they cause maybe a fight, or they would cause drug abuse or sex abuse, and probably even children are abandoned and left alone. And such cases are rampant in our society today. We've heard of cases where children are being beaten up to death. We've had cases where parents are divorcing and leaving their children in ruin, or leaving their family properties in ruin. We want to understand from the man of God today, how do you deal with such situations when they come to you? Welcome.
Thank you very much. We are here again to see that we have very healthy relationship, both outside and inside the family setup. And the relationship of the husband and wife was started in the Garden of Eden, where God created them both male and female, and He put them together. And the children came later, we know. They didn't have children, they were given children later. So it is to tell us that God didn't know about relationship in family, because when we see God Himself, when He called this man and there was nothing that was comforting him as a man, He saw that the man was so lonely, and that's when He created him a helper or a companion. And therefore that's the expectation of God, that we should always live together in harmony. Because the man seriously was in need, and that is why he was given a helper.
Yeah.
How can I be given to you to help you, and then you start beating me? You start harassing me?
Yeah.
And you are the one who is in need of help. So even in the marriages, we should realize that the woman or the wife will always come to help to make life better. And therefore we should seriously respect their place. Mm-hmm. The Word of God tells us in Ephesians chapter 5, from verse number 21, about the husband and the wife relationship. And the husband is told to love the wife just as the way Christ loved the church. He gave Himself for the church. He died for the church. He was ready to go all the way for the sake of the church.
Yeah.
So it all depends with the husband, how he's going to relate with his spouse, now the wife, to love this wife. And love, sometimes we say it is unconditional. And you get it from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter number 13. Mm-hmm. If you read from verse number 5 or to verse 9, yeah, you'll hear the Word of God telling us that love does not keep a record of wrongs. One of the things that is causing all these problems in the marriages is keeping record of wrongs. Yeah. When we have a lot of failure in marriages, yeah, we don't need to capture all the wrongs and put them into to record. Yeah. We are also supposed to understand that all of us do have weaknesses. So if you are the one as the husband who wronged me, I should understand that I myself also have some weaknesses which are offending you, and then we balance. So I don't need to fight my wife, because I also make some mistakes myself. Mm-hmm. So number 2 is what we call distorted expectation. people have what we call distorted expectation. You expect your spouse to behave like an angel.
Yeah.
You expect him to have all the money in the world. You
Which
expect
is not
him,
practical.
you know, to go and come back as jovious as always. But sometimes you encounter some struggles in the place of work or outside there which have broken his heart.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, it's your work, or when you come back together in the house in the evening, it's your work to encourage each other. Because outside are so many heartbreaks, which can make both of you to come to the house totally demoralized. So we realize that the distorted expectations will always cause fights in the house. The other case is in the distorted expectations is when you have a very high expectation for your children, especially in a time like this when we think that academic performance is everything.
Yeah.
If the children do not perform in school, you think that they are very stupid,
Yeah.
that they will never become anything. And therefore every now and then when they bring the results to the parents, they are being beaten like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some have had even some of them killing their children.
Yeah.
Others breaking some parts of their body, like the hand. It's been broken. Now you break his hand and you expect him to continue with education. Ataandika na nini?
Zipata nafasi ya kuendelea na maisha.
Na maisha.
Now we found that there are different ways of dealing with those family matters challenges.
Okay.
And it becomes a question when you're dealing with those situations. Do you discuss them with the family setup, children inclusive, or would you handle them as a couple, then bring the matter to the living room?
It's all depends with what you are discussing, because not everything should be discussed in front of the children. Some things are to be discussed somewhere else, maybe outside or inside the bedroom.
Yeah.
When you are just the two of you, even if they are matters concerning the children, you should discuss and then decide. Then you get to the children.
Yeah.
But there are matters which you have to bring the children together and you discuss.
Yeah.
Like now, the matters of like buying a home. For those who are capable of buying a home, the children do have a lot to contribute. You should not just buy them a home and take them to go and see the home.
Yeah.
Because they do have their taste. Discuss it in the sitting room together with the children.
Yeah.
And you are going to take some points from them. And this one is going to guide you on what type of a home you should buy, how many rooms, what kind of color of there, where, location-wise, some things like that. You see? But some of the things that you discuss with only your wife, they are those matters of concern which you know that the children should not have a lot of input into it.
Yeah.
They only need to act on your decision, what you decided, the two of you.
We have found it as a weakness where probably the father goes out and makes decisions, brings every decision made at home, and the wife probably is asking, where is my role in this? What part of your life do you consider me? And you find that it causes a misunderstanding, a disagreement.
There is always a crisis with what we call the housewife. Because the housewife mostly is treated like a lesser subject in the marriage conversation.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to matters with the development. Why? Because if she is a housewife, maybe she doesn't have an income. She's bringing no money to the family. But as matters concerns the family, even if she's not bringing any money, she's supposed to be included in the decision making.
Yeah.
even in buying of something like the car, the vehicle. Because when you buy a vehicle out of a loan, you took a loan and bought a vehicle.
Yeah.
You are buying it at the expense of the money that was to feed that family. The money that was for the sustenance of that family.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's why you should talk with your wife. And the wife could be having a better thing to do than buying the car at that moment. Taking a loan to buy a car at that moment.
Yeah.
And of course, you should listen to her. So it's obvious that the word of God says two are better than one.
Yeah.
Even the two heads are better. Because when they reason out together, they can come out with a better thing to do. So I advise that in the family setup or even in the marital setup, there should be that conversation in between, even before deciding on some or most of the sensitive matters, like even the matters of development. Yeah, the husband should not do it all alone.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we normally see, according to the word of God in the book of Ephesians chapter 5, it talks of the wife submitting. What is submission? Submission is allowing the husband to lead. So there are women who do not submit. They are not subject to the husband. Therefore, they can do anything they feel like doing because they are not under the control of the husband.
Nowadays, we are having the independent woman mentality that if a woman is a working class lady, she is earning her money and she doesn't feel obliged or obligated in any way to fall under a subject of a man.
My friend, let me tell you, that's why we have so many single mothers. Single mothers, because of this issue of submission. Submission, basically, I've said it is allowing him to lead because he is the head. Whether the woman has a lot of money or more money than the husband, she should allow the husband to be the head of that family.
Sure.
And that's why she should do a lot of things with consultation from the husband.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes the husband may not approve everything, but of course he has a hand in it, even if he's not working, because it is always start from somewhere. Maybe the husband was working, but he lost his job along the way. So we find that the woman has all the money because she herself is working.
Sure.
But sometimes somewhere the husband had the money. Why don't you harmonize your income to see that when one is having a good job or good income and the other is having a lower income, all this money belongs to the family, belongs to the same basket, what we are calling the family. And with this, nobody will be having greater position in the marriage than the other. You will equally respect each other. Yes.
Thank you for those pointers. Since today is a day we are discussing spiritual relationship matters and how to deal with them, we'll be coming back with this and more. And we would request you, our audience, our viewer, please drop a comment, share this video, and subscribe to this channel. And we will be sharing this and more. When we have another opportunity, we will share the matters that have been raised and more that you'll give us, and we will be gladly available for you. Thank you for joining us. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that opportunity.